because I like to make sure that I charge everything using off-grid power. So some of my projects take a little bit longer in the UK because the weather's not been playing ball recently.
So with the weather continuing to deteriorate in the UK, and I'm sorry if you've been affected by any of the flooding, so me moaning about charging my batteries using off-grid power is probably not that important when you're trying to deal with repairing your home. So sorry about that if you are experiencing that, and hope you get things sorted as soon as possible and there is a respite in the weather. But for me, what I was wanting to do was actually charge these cells up, all of them, and then do capacity tests along all of them to make sure that obviously they were bringing in something that I would have thought would have been good, bearing in mind what Daisy at Docan Power said they would bring in. So cell 1 effectively came in, where is that? It's over there, at just over 302 amp hours. So I was really pleased with that, bearing in mind these are 280 amp hour cells. So that was a great start to it. And then I thought, oh, I've run out of power, so what I'm going to have to do is start charging off the grid. So because I wanted to get this Apexium battery build done and dusted for winter, I started actually charging off of the grid. So what I wanted to do was, because it was going to take forever and also cost a fair amount of money in terms of how much I'd have to pay for grid energy, I just decided to take one battery out of each box. So I did obviously started off with one in box 1 and then abandoned that due to the weather and the fact I wasn't getting enough solar even to keep my 24 volt system alive. So then I picked cell 7, and that was just almost on the cusp of 300 amp hours. Then I went over to cell 10, and again a similar reading there. But the one that threw me a bit was cell 15. So that actually dropped down to 296 amp hours, and I was trying to figure out why they were so different, bearing in mind the statistics on them were pretty much on the money. They internal resistance and everything else was pretty good. So I decided to just check the data sheet again, and I found an obvious mistake. So here's cell 15, the one that threw a bit of a spanner in the works for me, because I was hoping that most of these cells would be 300 amp hours or more, so I could actually build my 15 kilowatt hour Apexium DIY battery. But obviously this one had fallen a bit short at 296 amp hours. So after checking the data sheet, I realised the fact that the ambient temperature in the house is actually going down because I've not switched on my gas central heating as yet. So general temperature within the house has actually dropped a fair bit over the last month or so. So it's probably in the region of about 17 degrees at the moment. And really, to get the right capacity readings out of these kind of cells, you should really be looking at the data sheet. And you know, I'm taking my own advice here and testing these around 25 degrees C, which I did retest this at 25 degrees C, and I'm pleased to say that it actually come in at 305 amp hours, so quite a difference. So if you've actually experienced a difference in terms of the fact that when you've done capacity tests on lithium iron phosphate cells, can you just let me know in the comments below how much of a difference you actually saw when the ambient temperature of where you were testing the cells was different, and if you did see quite a marked difference, because I wasn't quite expecting to see a difference, you know, of almost 10 amp hours, which is quite a bit of a difference I wasn't really expecting to see. So I'll just show you the dolly that I've got for the Apexium box. So here it is, and this will be very heavy once it's fully constructed. So I've bought the dolly here, which is, as you can see, underneath at the moment. And the other good thing about this dolly and the size of it, and I hope you can see that, is the feet that come on this particular box actually fit perfectly on each of the ends. So it's a perfect size. There's a little overhang, which is great because all the weight of the batteries will be towards the back of the box. Obviously the front has the BMS and the screen, etc. inside it. So in terms of that, I'll just pull this off just to show you what the dolly looks like. But yeah, it was quite a good buy actually. I didn't realise it was going to fit so well with the feet. So here it is, it's got handles on it and everything, some nice substantial wheels on it as well. If I can get that in there for you. Yeah, really good quality. and really good, easy to use wheels as well once it's all loaded up. Obviously I've not got the battery cells in the box itself at the moment, but yeah, in terms of the non-slip surface as well, yeah, really impressed with it actually. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to have a look at it, even if you don't use it for this or you've got another project on the go. But yeah, really pleased with that. So let's have a quick look at the inverter that finally arrived. So here's the EASUN 48 volt version that I've got now, and if you haven't seen the 24 volt version, which is still working brilliantly on my shopping cart battery, I've just put the video up in the top corner now if you want to take a look at that. And this is the 7 kVA version, so I think the inverter gives out 6.2 kilowatts when it's under full load. It's got a COM port on the side and on-off switch like the 24 volt version, and the fans, quite some meaty fans, are at the top. So yeah, pretty much the same setup as well in terms of where the connections are, and you connect the batteries through those, and I'm going to put some lugs on the end of the cables, which will eventually connect straight to the front of here. So hopefully this cheap inverter is as good as the 24 volt version, so that'll be an interesting one once I've got it all hooked up. So yeah, that's that inverter ready to go. So if you do have any comments, questions or suggestions, or you've actually found any of those differing results in terms of ambient temperature when you're testing your lithium iron phosphate cells, please let me know in the comments section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks again for watching and stay tuned to DADvinci.